Welcome to The Start. If you are starting a business or thinking about making a pivot in your life, you are in the right place. I'm your host for today. I hope this show gives you the inspiration to keep showing up. You are not behind, you are not alone. Growth takes time, and your path will get clearer with each step you take. So, let's dive in. Hi, Kelly.
Hi Juan, how are you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. And thank you for joining the show. It's so good to have you here. First off, can you introduce yourself, where you're from, where you're at right now, and what do you do?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm Kelly. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm in Phuket right now. I moved here almost 4 years ago. So I moved here from China, where I was e-commerce manager, and I'm also a data analyst. And when I have free time, I'm also a adjunct instructor at the university in Thailand.
hmm Yeah. Wow. So how do you find Phuket?
Well, yeah, it's amazing. I moved because I wanted to be closer to nature, because that's yeah one of the things I was really missing in the big city. Um, so yeah, it's amazing to be very close to the beach, to have all this greenery around you. So yeah, I really like it.
Mm. So you have lived in China and now you moved to Thailand and based in Phuket.
Right, yes.
Um, how do you find the difference between living in China versus living in Thailand?
Yeah, I was living in Shanghai, which is a really big city. So it's really a city lifestyle, very high paced rhythm, which in the beginning I really loved. I really loved to be like, I really had this cosmopolitan vibe. I really like that. But now yeah, I'm a little bit older, let's say. So I really like to be in Phuket, where everything is a bit more slower. Like I said, closer to nature. It feels a bit more calm and relaxing. Well, yeah, it is definitely compared to Shanghai. But I still miss it sometimes. I like to go to Bangkok, change the energy a little bit, feel a little bit, uh, part of a big city again, rather than just relaxing on the island.
Yeah, yeah. I can relate to that. Like I lived in Bangkok for a long time. There are, sometimes I will go to either Chiang Mai or like south of Thailand to take a break from the busy city and then take rest with the nature.
Yes.
And yeah, so this show is all about sharing the journey of starting your business. Can you share more about what made you start iBoost?
hmm Um, well, yeah, when I moved here, it was still COVID, and I was still with a job. But I felt that I needed a change. So when I was living in China, I already felt that in my current job, I kind of reached my maximum in terms of personal development, career development. I felt like I already climbed the mountain and it was time for a new one to climb. So I looked for a new job inside China, but then it felt it would be the same type of job, let's say, the same type of responsibility, but in a different company. And that's not what I wanted. I felt I really wanted something different. So then, yeah, COVID happened. I met my now husband, and he also wanted to leave China. So we decided to move together to Phuket. And that's also when I was here, I started to think, okay, maybe I can just start my own business because remote work was suddenly very common during the pandemic. Freelancing was also very popular. Digital nomads was suddenly a thing. So I think I kind of caught wind of that and thought, okay, I really want to maybe just start my own business. And then I guess I also thought, okay, it's got to be easy. So let's just try it. Yeah, and also, of course, that I found an opportunity because coming from China, which is such a big e-commerce market, and then coming to Thailand, where I saw there's still a lot of room for growth. That's why, all these factors together, I decided, okay, let's build something for myself.
Yeah. Wow. So you were saying you were at the job before in China, and then you have this aspiration to start becoming a little bit of digital nomad, like get inspired by the lifestyle, and you
Mm,
looking like you are in the space of e-commerce. And yeah, I can see that in China is much more progressing as what we are having now in Thailand in terms of technology and the market itself in the
hmm
e-commerce. So you are seeing that growth opportunity that you can start a business in Thailand. And from what you share, I'm interested. So, what was the job that you were doing before when you said, and I really like, by the way, when you talk about your drive on the reason that you are looking for starting your own business because it's driven from personal growth that you are looking for because you were feeling like personal development or career development is pretty much saturated for you.
hmm
And I love that you have the drive of wanting to grow, and that was leading you into starting your own business. And we will talk about that part later. And first off, I want to know what was the job that you were doing before.
Yeah. So I was the head of e-commerce for an international fashion company. I was
Mm.
managing the team for them in China. So that also made that in China, it was a smaller division of their headquarters, let's say. So if I wanted to grow within that company, I probably had to move to Europe, back to Europe again. There are more jobs there, let's say, inside the company. But in China, this was really the maximum that I could have achieved. Um, and also, I think what also really triggered me was that when the pandemic hit, we were working from home. So we suddenly had this freedom of uh, basically deciding how to work, let's say, on a day-to-day business. And before, my job was more very routine, very, waking up, going to the office, cycling back home, and start all over again. So that became very, very mundane and a little bit boring. So that same rhythm, I feel I need more variety. I need diversity. I want to be. I'm quite independent person, so I need to have freedom to kind of decide how am I going to spend my day, let's say. So when I had a taste of that because of the pandemic, that then I also said, okay, if I have my own company or yeah, then at least I can make my own decisions. Of course, not going to be easy, but at least I have that flexibility that I was really yearning for.
Yeah, yeah. I think from COVID, it opened up so many doors for so many people, isn't it? Like a lot of time
Right.
we grow up thinking about, the traditional working lifestyle where we have to go to the office, but COVID make that concept obsolete just within a few years. Like pretty much every job can turn into online work from home. We
hmm
can collaborate remotely and what you share around once you realize that you were living a mundane life with certain schedule before and because of COVID you start to feel the taste of freedom and taste of possibilities and flexibilities as well, and that's lead you into opening up your own business. And
hmm
like because I'm also like in my 40s, my friends, a lot of my friends were in that space where they start to realize that um, the way of the schedule that used to work for them perhaps is not working for them anymore. And right now, a lot of times they would take like career break where they get to pause and reflect. And a lot of people that I meet when they get that taste of freedom, it's actually bring up inspiration of doing something new or starting, new business, new project or learning new skill. And I'm also interested to ask you more around when you said, oh, you have an idea that starting business would be easy, but when it's come to actually going into it, it's not the picture that you were thinking about. And I can totally relate to that. And that's why I would love to hear from you more. So it also give me like some comfort because I'm also in that phase of, in my mind, it looks so easy. I already have this skill, have this background, have this reputation in a company, and when I'm starting my own business, it's like in my mind, in my naive mind, I thought it's gonna be easy, and it's turned out that we have to put a lot more effort into driving our own brand, starting everything by
Right.
ourselves. And yeah, so I want to give you that space to perhaps share your journey so that when if anybody is in pretty much the same phase as both of us was in before, then they can get to learn on
Mhm.
yeah, get to learn, get to feel like less lonely in the journey. So perhaps if you can share more about that, that would be lovely for the
Yeah,
listener.
of course. So, um, indeed, so I started basically selling what I know because I have over 10 years of experience managing online stores here in Asia, working with international clients. So that's what I know. So how I started the business, I was like, okay, let's just, do what I know and then try to find clients, bring that to the market. Of course, the difficulty is that coming from being an office person, let's say, I was in a corporation, you're just there sitting in the office. Basically, they kind of tell you what to do. But then when you are your own boss, you have to make you have to set all the deadlines. You have to suddenly become a salesperson, which is a completely different role than I had before in the company. So suddenly you have all these different responsibilities. You're wearing all kinds of different hats, and of course it's just you or someone else. But yeah, you have a small team, but together you have to basically do everything that normally you do with a lot more people. So for me, the biggest challenge was definitely to become the sales representative of my own business. Because being a salesperson is a different type of skill. You need different, experience. So that was really, and it's still, difficult to really push myself and get out there and call people, contact people, basically sell your business all the time, which is so different from just being in the office, making a strategy, then you can pitch that to your boss, let's say, but it's not about, trying to ask someone to be your client, basically give you money, let's say, right? So that was definitely a big challenge and still is. And like I said, I've also studied for a long time in the university, and then you have a syllabus. They tell you what to do. They say at the end of the course, this is what you have to learn, and this is the deadline. So you go from this long time of basically people setting the rules for you, and now I have to set the rules for myself, set those deadlines, create some kind of urgency. I guess that is quite difficult to adapt to. Um, from like I said, going from the office, going from the university, having people decide things for you, basically, which now, of course, I don't have, and that's amazing. But you're just so used to it that now, it's a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, I can totally relate to you in that part where, and especially from your background of being the head of e-commerce, where you have a team working for you. And from what I'm hearing from you is that when you start by yourself, you have to start reaching out to more people and learning sales skill, which is the part that is a big change for you. And
Mm-hmm.
I also went to the digital nomad event in Chiang Mai in January, and there were this panel where the one man who is doing co-working in Chiang Mai, where he also coming from corporate background, and then he start his own co-working. He also
Mm-hmm.
sharing pretty much the same thing. Like one of the things that he learned as an entrepreneur from who is from corporate background is that the part that he learned is how to have a rhythm as an entrepreneur, and it takes him
Right.
about like 3 years to get that into places. Yeah, so I also would like to know more about how do you navigate this part where that is the transition of you have a team working for you in a company. We pretty much know what is the deadline. And yeah, so that's the first part that I want to know more. And then I will go into understanding how do you navigate the mindset of stepping up, doing the sales thing. But first off, yeah, can you share me more about how do you navigate that around the deadline and making schedule as an entrepreneur?
Right. Yeah. Um, so indeed, you have to find a rhythm for yourself. And so, but yeah, so I would yeah, so now I've learned to set the schedule, but in the beginning, of course, because I also moved to a new place, you have to get familiar with, your surroundings, and like I said, it's kind of an eternal holiday vibe here. So I would just go out, and for me, I work best if I need to study. I go to the library. I need to be around people who are in the same mindset of working or reading or studying. So I just try to be there where people are also working. That kind of pushes me to also get going. Some people love to go to coffee shops. For me, that doesn't work, because then I'm just ordering food, looking around me, things like that. So that's why I really like to go to co-working, or any space where there's like a working vibe. Um, and what I also try to set up is setting up this accountability. So every week in the beginning, I somehow, through networking, I found someone. Like you said, it can be quite lonely. So there are quite a few people who want to feel connected, and they want to, also check in with each other. So then we had this accountability, checking in every week, and that really helped me also. Kind of, that became my deadline. So I was basically working for that moment, saying that, okay, next week I'm going to meet again with them, with the accountability group. Okay, then I need to make sure that I have things ready, that I at least have something to say, or I'm working on this, what is the status? So basically other people became my pressure to accomplish things, or to get some things done. And now I basically tell myself, okay, sales is most important. I try to tell myself really hard truths, just to kick myself, and to really make sure that things happen. Because if I don't have clients, I don't have a business, right? And I really have to find a way to, to find these clients on my own. So I tell myself really hard truths, like, okay, you have to do this. And then that's what I do the first thing in the morning. First, work for myself, work on the business and not in the business. Um, so that I always carve out 1 or 2 hours in the morning to work on the business, and to make sure that I have that covered, let's say. And then I start working on all the other jobs for the clients, let's say.
Yeah. So that's a lot of good tips over there that you gave. This I also find that having environment that give me inspiration, and for
Mm-hmm.
you it's about going to co-working or library, and yes, in a cafe. Yes, I also tend to order meals and looking around. Yeah, so I can definitely also relate to that part, and I believe in having the right people, the right community to support is helping you as well. And I love that tips around finding people and step up to host like accountability group. So
Mm-hmm.
you can feel that vibe that everyone is working on the same thing and pretty much a little bit of pressure for you to work in towards that goal as well. And I love your last wisdom around, having like schedule and commitment, like every 2 hours that you wake up, you will work on the business, but not in the business. I really love that part. And so the next question is, I think like a lot of time when it's come to sales, um, for like I consider myself as a sales. I work in sales position for a long time, but when I start selling my own business, it's totally like different feeling, right?
Yeah.
When it's like become my own business, and a lot of time when people hesitant to sell or hesitant to introduce their business, a lot of time it's come from that fear of rejection or fear of
Mm-hmm.
failure, that when they propose something they will receive feedback or receiving that no from other people. So how do you navigate that, when it's come to finding that motivation to go through different no's? Because before we
Mm-hmm.
get our soulmate client, a lot of time we have to go through a lot of no's before.
Yeah. Um, so indeed, I also started thinking, or I started thinking that, oh, if I ask people if they want to work with me, or if they need the services, they will say no. And I was also doing a lot of cold calling. But actually, what happened when I was cold calling, a lot of people love to talk on the phone. I don't know
Oh,
if it's me or they just in general, but I wouldn't get that many no's, or at least people would just be very friendly. They say, "Oh, where are you from? Oh, so interesting. Tell me more." So I would always have really good conversations with people I just cold called. Um, that really, I was like, okay, so I'm telling myself that it's going to be very tough, but in reality, it was actually quite fun. And of course, not all of that would convert, but at least we had, like, I always felt uplifted, let's say, and happy after a call like that. But still, it still takes a lot of energy out of you. So I'm still, I still need to learn, let's say, and master it. So I call, but not that many people. And that is maybe also, why I'm struggling, right? I have to reach more people. So I tell myself, if you're not visible, you're invisible. So I really have to get out there, talk to more people. And in general, people are really friendly. I've only had one time that someone said, no, I'm not interested in this at all, and then hang up the phone. That barely happens. So that kind of gets me going. Of course, again, I have to, you just have to do it, right? So you have to have the courage to do it. Um, so again, I just set some small deadlines for myself. Just call a few people, and then um, what I've also been working on in the last 6 months is really setting up a sales process. So trying to understand, okay, how can I reach as many people as possible? How can I automate a lot of these things? Because it needs to be on a professional scale. And then if I have this system in place, then I can maybe also hire someone to do the work for me. But first I need to understand myself, what works best. So I'm a data analyst. I always say, you need to test. So I'm trying to do that now myself as well.
yeah, wow. I really love your mindset around, for you, like cold call is fun, right? I think like
Yeah.
that reframe in the mind is really help your energy also when you call people. And yeah, and I love that you mentioned that, yeah, a lot of times like for us, because we will, I think like for me specifically, like I also have this fear of rejection. So in my mind, like if I call people, then they will reject me. But what you share is that in your experience, you find it fun and it wasn't that much rejection, right? You say people are actually welcoming, like wanting to
Yes.
know more about your service, and so far it's only few rejection that you receive come across a whole call. Yeah, I love that energy of bringing the fun and seeing the possibility that this is like possible to make it happen, and the wisdom that you share around if you are not visible, you are invisible. So that is like a motivation mantra at the back
Yeah.
end now. And you are in the process of establishing your sales process to reach out more people through automation. I also have another question around. I also know a lot of people who from corporate who who are really successful and they start jumping into entrepreneur and probably like because entrepreneur journey is a long journey. And I know like from myself when I was from corporate and looking at when people are making their business, I will have this another innocent mind that yeah, probably like 1 or 2 years it's gonna work. But entrepreneur is a long journey, right? Once we jump into it, we know that what we used to think is the different picture out there is the lifetime process, is constant
Hmm.
growth internally. And I think because of that, I saw a lot of people who start in entrepreneur and probably after 1 to 2 years where perhaps if they persistent through that phase, it's gonna work. But a lot of time people fall back because they know that they can find another job. They have the skill that they can offer and go back to corporate again. So my question is, what make you persistent through this phase without going back to the corporate world? Because you have that choice always. So what make you not
Right. Yes.
falling back there? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think so. I'm someone, I guess, when I make a decision, I follow through, let's say. So like and I know also from experience this is not the first time I make a move, let's say, or I change.
Mm,
um, and I know things will be hard, let's say, but I'm somehow always able to kind of push through. And for like this project, or for like now being an entrepreneur or business owner, I also tell myself, okay, I'm going to give it 5 years. So I'm now at year 3, so I still have 2 more years, and then I'll make a decision whether I will go back or not. And of course, I also looked at jobs, or especially when I was feeling a bit down or I had a rejection, I would then jump on the job listings and start scrolling. But that actually would make me feel, or left me feeling very gloomy. So less optimistic, less happy. And then I'm like, oh no, no, it just feels so yeah, a little bit depressing to go through that listing and then thinking about the whole process of applying for a job again. Um, and I guess also I'm living in Phuket. There's not like there are so many jobs out there, let's say, for me. So yeah, no, it didn't really give me the energy to pursue, applying for jobs or things like that. And I gave myself a set period of time to say, okay, let's make this work. And I just try to keep myself reminded of all the positive things that are happening right now. And indeed, yeah, you really have to understand that you're building something. And of course, building something takes a lot of time. And in that sense, for example, my dad he also had his own business. So I talked to him as well, like, what did you think when you just started? And he was like, no, I never thought about, about what kind of income I could get, or, what I was building. So that all just happened a little bit randomly for him, let's say. So he was a car mechanic, and he's like, I just really loved working with cars and this kind of things. So yeah, also talking to other people in business, that also helps you to kind of, stay on top of your goals, and keep going. And I think it, like I said, it helps to say, okay, I have 5 years, and then I will see how far I came. And in the meantime, I just keep going, expect the best, and yeah, reflect on all the good things that are happening.
I love it. So keep going, expect the best, and reflect on the good things that happen. I think like
Yeah.
entrepreneur is a real growth journey, and you have your, role model. As your dad has his own journey, although it was different from you, and talking to other people, I also find that helped me a lot. So I think like when I go out to networking, a lot of time it's not only just sell my business, it's also talking to other people and learning
Hmm.
from them as well. Yeah, so I think like entrepreneur is not easy, but we can look at it as a fun, and it's such a growth journey as well. And what you share is that you give yourself pretty much a longer timeline of like 5 years and see how it goes, see how far you have come. Yeah, and like my mentor, she also like encouraging people a lot that in the beginning you also like you can also have freelance job now, right? Right.
Hmm.
So if that is another option for other people who probably listen to this show, if finance is something that is becoming stressful, there are a lot of ways that we can do freelance job. And it does like it can be like simple, like virtual assistant or something. Wow, because we also need to balance
Yeah.
that part in our finances. So yeah, I
It,
really enjoy the conversation with you. I'm so grateful that you're so authentic in how you share about your journey, and I can see that you are someone who is driven by growth, because the reason you start your own business is also because you are looking for that personal growth, career
mhm.
development, and that's why it led you to start your iBoost. So can you tell us more about what iBoost is about?
Yeah, sure. And thank you so much. I really like being on the show, and I take this also as a moment to reflect. And it also made me realize, okay, I've already accomplished quite a lot. So there is definitely an upward, trend in terms of how things are developing. So indeed, there is like in the beginning, it's just very hard, but it gets easier and easier. So yeah, just keep going. But so with iBoost, like I said, I've been in Asia for now 11 years. I've worked with international clients managing their online store. So that's really my background, is operating international websites, mainly on marketplaces. So what we do is we help them set up the marketplace shop. We help to operate the day-to-day business. That's really the core, but my own passion is really about data analytics. So I'm shifting a little bit more towards, um, rather than having a marketplace website or shop, I'm shifting more to the .com website. So D2C brands that sell directly to the consumer. Because then you'll have tools like Google Analytics and all kinds of other data insight tools for A/B testing, things like that. So I'm really focusing on working with those brands, try to make sense of their analytics, of their data, and how to use that to their advantage to grow their business and to really make them feel comfortable, or like, how do you say, confident in how to grow their business with a really found good foundation in terms of how to review the data and how to make decisions on that.
Yeah. So you are helping people to use data analytics to grow online business. Can you give me an example of what, like the example of your client, of what industry are they in, what are they selling, and how do they work with you?
Hmm. So yeah, I have a background in fashion, or I used to work for a fashion company. So yeah, I have clients in that industry. So could be lifestyle, could be yeah, related. I would say just related to lifestyle. So fashion, maybe uh, a bit of beauty. Could be anything actually. But out of my own trust, these are usually the ones that I select. So
Mm.
um, yeah, so lifestyle industry. And then how I work with them, so often they come with me that they are growing, their business is growing, but they don't have any profit. So they come to me saying, okay, I see I have a lot of income, but at the end there's not a lot of money left. So then we really go through the data. We do this audit, so it's like a really holistic view and review of their business. So what is their branding like? What is the customer journey on their website? The design, and then really look at the data. So what products are working for them? Which ones don't? How to advertise? Use all these insights to create a very good marketing strategy. And then we also look at the marketing itself, like how much are you spending? What is the return? Which is becoming quite complex with the attribution these days. But yeah, so it really starts with doing a full review of their business and then taking those insights and then also execute.
Yeah, so I think that's a really good point. I remember I went to Tony Robbins Business Mastery, and in the session, he was asking people to submit their, income and profit, and then he select the one man who become the case study in the session, right? And then he show his sales growth over 3 5 years. I couldn't remember the detail exactly, but my point is when we see the sales growth of this man, everyone was so exciting. I think he was like working in a food business, and then for the next moment, he was showing the profit that this man made. So the growth of if anyone listening to the audio, you wouldn't see how I use my hand, but the growth of his sales is projecting upwards, but the profit is actually going downwards. So he actually like using a lot of marketing and hidden costs to drive the sale. I think that's also the like a really good point of managing the business, where it's not only about the sales, but how do we
Hmm.
find balance to make it sustainable, where we are not only drive sale and we drive the profit as well. And I know that like for small business, like another business that I used to support is my family business on dog swimming pool and dog hotel. And because we are a small business, we are not we don't have an expertise in data analytics, in tracking our incomes or
Hmm.
analyzing our profit or the investments. So I can see how your offer is going to help business like what my family have or other people who are in the same journey of wanting to be more wanting to get more visibility on the actual income and the profit, and how to scale sustainably, where it's not only about the sales, but it's also about what you get at the end of the day in your pocket, right? So I think
Right.
that's
Yeah.
the most important part for the business these days. So thank you so much, Kelly. So the last question is, if people want to find you, if people want to work with you, how can they find
Hmm.
you?
Yes. So if you want to make sense of your data, or if you want to have a fresh perspective on your business, you can connect with me on LinkedIn or go to my website, which is iboostonline.com. And I'm also a member of the Australian Chamber, so I often go to their events here in Phuket, but also in Bangkok, or any women in business events. Usually, I'm there to network, so you can come and find me there.
Yeah, thank you. It's so exciting to have a chat with you and your journey. I learned a lot from your journey, a lot of wisdom that you shared today. So thank you so much to be on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really liked reflecting, and yeah, hopefully it's useful for other people who are listening. And yeah, I would say just keep going, keep turning the page, just keep going.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's every entrepreneur mantra, one foot in front of the other, keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
We are our own best friend now.
yeah.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
I would love to connect with you. And it would also mean a lot to me if you could share it with a friend or leave a review on the episode. A little bit about me. I'm a trauma informed life coach with 16 years of experience in the corporate world and 8 years as a coach. I have been helping business owners and executives tap into real confidence and make clearer decisions. And if you are in the season of change and want a personal light touch, feel free to reach out about my one-on-one coaching program. I'm always happy to connect with you. And come back for a new episode next week. And until then, keep being kind to yourself.